We are going to be sharing with you today one of the most unusual testimonies that we have ever filmed for So Be It. We're going to hear Rivka's story, and you're not going to see her face. And I want you to understand why. It is not safe for her to be public. It's not safe for her or for her family, for her faith in Jesus to be made public, because she is part of an ultra-Orthodox community. And maybe you're thinking we're in Israel or somewhere far away, but I'm here in Brooklyn. And ultra-Orthodox Jewish people in Brooklyn are very intense and closed off in their community, and it's very hard for them to be reached with the good news about Jesus. But some of them do come to know him. And if you're watching this and you're from one of these communities, I want you to know that you're not the only person in your community. There's many secret believers in Jesus here in Brooklyn, in ultra-Orthodox Jewish communities around the world. And so keep that in the back of your mind as you hear Rivka's story. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us about the moment where it clicked for you. Like the light bulb went off in your head and you were like, Jesus is the Messiah.
Yeah, there was a lightning bolt where I just knew he was the Messiah beyond the shadow of a doubt. I didn't need to research it. I didn't need proof. I knew it because it clicked in my head. Two different things. It clicked in my head that, which I'll explain later, that Mashiach, the Messiah, actually should be a bastard child, or what seems so.
Right, that it would seem to be a very unusual family situation or birth.
Yes, yes. I heard women discussing that he was killed the night before Passover, and there was trauma in my family and other families on that time, the day before Passover, that was horrendous. And I didn't know what could cause such a deep trauma, but then it made so much sense to me that if that was the time our Messiah was killed, egged on by our own people, that would be very traumatizing.
Yeah.
And it's a trauma that's unaddressed.
Yeah.
Because we keep denying Jesus, so we never get to address the trauma, so it just festers.
Part of what makes your story so different than so many, I've heard so many testimonies of Jewish people coming to believe in Jesus, but you seem to have pieced these things together from traditions and teachings of the rabbis, not from even reading the New Testament or meeting Christians or anything like that. Would you say that that's accurate of your journey?
Yes.
So do you think that even just within Judaism, that it's possible to find proof that Jesus is the Messiah of our Jewish people?
Definitely, yes.
Okay, so if somebody wants to test that, where would you tell them to start? Or what are some of the other things they should look at? The clues?
Well, I think this is the biggest clue, that Mashiach, the Messiah, should be what seems like a mamzer, which means a bastard child. We learned this in school, where I grew up in the ultra-Orthodox community, that Mashiach and all the generations prior to Mashiach need to be born from relationships that seem sinful.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many examples of this. I don't know how much time I have to elaborate, but I'll just name them.
Yeah, please elaborate.
Yehuda and Tamar. So Tamar disguised herself as a hooker to seduce Yehuda, and they had a secret marriage, which was definitely not a traditional marriage. Lot and his two daughters.
Right, who are the ancestors of Ruth, who's an ancestor of King David.
Right, yeah. And then Ruth with Boaz.
Yeah.
She also seduced him in the field. That was very unusual.
Yeah. Well, the whole of the Hebrew scriptures is kind of tracking these unusual birth stories. It's really interesting. But there's lots of people born throughout history who have sort of a unusual or taboo birth story. So what was it about Jesus that made you kind of realize, no, this is part of that story?
Well, because he claimed to be the Messiah, it made sense that he is the Messiah. And even just when I was wondering about it, like, is he the Messiah or is he not? I couldn't imagine either which way that his killing could be a good thing. Like there was good and evil playing out.
Yeah.
Evil targets the good, and definitely crucifying somebody is evil.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. I've never thought about that before. It's a lose-lose, however you look at it.
So because he was crucified, that was another reason I believed it was him.
Because he was crucified.
Yes.
That's interesting. So at what point in your journey did you actually read the New Testament?
Only very recently.
Okay. And what were some of the things in it that spoke to you or that you wrestled with?
I kept my faith a complete secret for years.
Oh, wow.
And not only did I keep it a secret, I didn't buy the New Testament because I was scared. I was scared somebody would find it or somebody would find out that I bought it.
And what did you think would happen if you were found out?
Well, I would be persecuted and my children too.
Yeah. Okay, but now you have read it.
So I finally mustered up the courage to buy a Bible, and I saw in the Bible it says that you're not allowed to deny Jesus and you should confess Jesus. And that made me feel very bad because I knew I never confessed Jesus to anybody.
Wow.
So that was like sitting on my chest,
Yeah.
like constantly on my mind, tormenting me that I've never confessed Jesus. And that prompted me to reach out to Jews for Jesus.
Well, you're in a very unique situation because you have to think about protecting your children and, you have to think about a lot of things that many people don't have to worry about for what they believe. They're not risking as much. So you have a journey that I think inspires me of like, you've really had to count the cost of what it means to be a follower of Jesus. But what's really interesting to me is you still practice Judaism, even though you've been a believer in Jesus for many years. You've stayed in the community and still practiced Judaism. So what has led you to your lifestyle today?
I have no reason not to practice Judaism. It's my life. It's the life of my children. It's our tradition we hold dear for thousands of years. Though I must say my practice of Judaism has improved since I found Jesus, because he puts the light in, he puts the love in, and he takes away the heavy yoke. Because everything I do, I let Jesus be the Lord of my tradition. I let him lead me. And that only leads me to practice in more loving ways, to make sure to never practice tradition on somebody else's expense, and to just have it in a positive way, that God loves me and I'm not relying on the letter of the law to take me to heaven. I'm relying on my faith and love to take me to heaven.
Amen. That's amazing. Okay, so take us back now. Tell us maybe a little bit like how you grew up and what it was like, and was it a good experience growing up in the community, ultra-Orthodox community, or?
Yeah.
Tell us more about that.
It was very sheltered, but it was a good experience. I loved the school I went to.
Yeah.
It was Hasidish and ultra-Orthodox. We learned a lot of nice theology in the school I went to. It wasn't very high academics, but we still learned a lot of nice Jewish theology about the holidays. We learned about the Baal Shem Tov and Hasidus. It was a nice experience, though very sheltered, but nice.
So was there something that sparked you starting to be curious about Jesus or curious about who the Messiah was?
Yeah, it was after my father passed away several years ago that I felt this push inside me to want to journey and discover more.
Well, I think that what you've done is it's really what we should all be doing, because you sought out the truth for yourself, you asked questions, you did research, and I think that you're proving a lot of people wrong, because a lot of people think, if someone who never studied Judaism, of course they believe in Jesus, but you really grew up in an ultra-Orthodox community and studied Judaism, and from within Judaism found that it can actually connect perfectly to live a religious Jewish life and be a follower of Jesus, and that those things aren't against each other. And I hope that a lot of people will see this and maybe rethink some of their categories. What would you want to say to somebody who is practicing religious, ultra-Orthodox Jewish person, and maybe they're on this journey of trying to figure out, could Jesus be the Messiah? What would be your advice to them?
I would say follow your heart and pray for discernment, that God should enlighten your mind and heart to the truth. And you will find the truth, and you will find that the truth is that Jesus is the Messiah. And there's great love in that. He loves you, we love him. We all love each other in his discipleship.
Wow, that's beautiful. I want people around the world watching this to be challenged by your journey and your pursuit of the truth at all costs. But I also want people to be praying for you, because I know that you actually want to be more public in your faith, but you're not able to yet because you need to make sure that your family is safe. So is there anything else you could share about how people around the world who are watching this can pray over you and that God would do amazing things in your life?
Yes, I would like prayers for me and my family to be safe. We should pray for enlightenment to a bigger percentage of the ultra-Orthodox community. So it shouldn't be dangerous to have to say about Jesus. We should pray for all the Jewish people to come to faith. Mm-hmm. And knowing that my sisters and brothers around the world are praying for me will be a source of encouragement to me.
And I know for sure people watching this are going to pray for you, because we have so many people watching, so be it, around the world who are praying every day for the people that are shown on this channel, praying for the Jewish people to come to know Jesus as their Messiah. Do you think that there's other believers in the Orthodox community?
Yes, definitely.
What makes you say that?
Well, I actually was able to make contact with some other believers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, through Jews for Jesus.
Okay, interesting. So yeah, what I'm praying is that there's going to be a tipping point where enough of those people meet each other that it becomes actually a movement where it's undeniable, and like you said, where people feel safe to be public about their faith because there's that strength in numbers and people know they're not alone. And it's actually already true. But what we need to do is share stories like yours so people can know that this is a growing movement that God is doing, and it's a miracle. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I can't even begin to express how much it means to me that you're willing to take this type of step and share your story, knowing the cost of that and the risks of that. And I believe that people around the world are going to be praying. Please, if you're watching this, pray for Rivka, because we will share an update in the future if you as your prayers are answered. I won't say if, because I believe they will be answered, and we will share an update on her journey. Thank you so much, and God bless you.